Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us for this week's Thursday with AARP Wisconsin show. Please note that this show is pre-recorded, but if you have any questions or comments, we always encourage you to put them below if you're watching us on Facebook.com, or you will definitely get back to you. So today's show, before we actually get started, we have a couple special guests, but always want to do a nice reminder that always check out our AARP Wisconsin page. This will give you information about upcoming events, gives you articles, information, anything that you could think about that AARP can support you with, whether it's caregiving, Medicare, anything to do with COVID. So we definitely encourage you to visit our website. Also remember the Community Connections initiative through AARP. So if you click on, or if you go to this website, you will get information about volunteer opportunities within your neighborhood, but also all about the AARP Friendly Voice initiative. This was launched earlier this year, and it's free. You could be any age. You do not need to be an AARP member. You can visit this website and actually put a request in for one of our trained volunteers to call you. And once again, it's just a friendly voice. You can talk to them about anything that you could think about. And once again, it's free. So we definitely encourage you to use this for yourself or for a friend or family. So if you're watching this, of course, it's December 31st, the last day of 2020. And some people are thinking maybe 2020 was probably one of the hardest years that we've been through for a while. But what we wanted to do at AARP Wisconsin is highlight some of our beautiful volunteers. And in total, AARP National, that represents all 50 states, we have around 60,000 volunteers. So you've probably seen them before COVID in those beautiful AARP red shirts. And in the state of Wisconsin, we have approximately about 200 volunteers. These volunteers help us with or support our efforts with outreach, presentations, advocacy. And once again, pre-COVID, we were out and about in the community with those beautiful red shirts making an impact. And now it looked just a little bit different since March. So we wanted to highlight all the goodness that our volunteers do, not only for AARP, but for our members in the community. So we are joined today by three of our lovely volunteers. So we have Cathy from our Milwaukee area, Jan from the Waterford area, and Noreen from the Crosse area. So thank you so much, ladies, for joining me today.
You're most welcome.
You're welcome.
Great. So, as we stated, we wanted to highlight and kind of do a little reflection of volunteering with AARP Wisconsin. But before we get started, I would love if you guys could maybe do a little introduction of yourself. I already said what city you're with, so I apologize about that. But if you could talk a little bit about the volunteer role that you have with AARP. And I'm going to start with Cathy first.
Okay, I'm Cathy Sandmeyer. I've been with AARP as a volunteer since 2018. I'm coming up on my 4-year anniversary in March. I'm lead for the outreach events here in the Milwaukee area. And I'm a retired nurse, and I volunteered because it allows me to use some of the skills I had as a nurse. I love meeting people and interacting with them. And so this was a great opportunity to do that. Through the volunteer, and also to meet some wonderful other volunteers. We have a really great team here in the Milwaukee area, as we do throughout the state.
Great. Thank you so much, Cathy. And I believe Noreen next.
My name is Noreen, and I am from La Crosse. I'm a volunteer advocate, so I work on legislative issues, providing testimony, opinions, just keeping up on aging issues in Wisconsin. And I also work with the age-friendly community. We have a group of us working in La Crosse, Thriving Livable La Crosse, and we are trying to make sure that La Crosse is age-friendly and everyone friendly.
Great. Thank you so much, Noreen. And Jan.
Hi, I'm Jan from Waterford, Wisconsin. I've been in AARP about 5 years now, and I'm a volunteer advocate. I've worked on a few projects, including presentations to the Joint Finance Committee. And also last summer, I worked on a presentation I gave for AARP on absentee voting.
Yes, and and Jan did a lot of those presentations. They were all wonderful, so that may be where you recognize her. So thank you guys so much for your hard work. So Noreen, I'm going to start with you. What is your favorite aspect about being an AARP volunteer? And it could be the whole experience with AARP or just this year. So it's a little bit different this year.
Well, I think the most important thing for me is just the people I'm volunteering with. Some of them I worked with because I've worked in aging for a number of years. So some it was meeting again and working with again, which was just great. But I've met an entire group of folks who are fun to work with, who are inspiring. It's just been a positive experience all the way around. Much better when we meet face to face, but at least we have Zoom.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Noreen. And Jan, same question to you. What is your favorite aspect about being a AARP Wisconsin volunteer?
You know, I think I've become much more aware of what's going on in our state legislatures and our national government regarding aging. We have weekly meetings and on telephone or sometimes Zoom. And the staff at AARP keeps us up to date on all the goings on in the government. And I have found that just fascinating. So I've really enjoyed that part of it.
Great. And Cathy, same question to you.
Yeah, I touched on it before, but I have to echo both Noreen and Jan. It's the people that I've had the opportunity to meet. Those who come to our events have met some wonderful people. Also, the volunteers, just a great group. And through all the resources that AARP provides us, I've been able to learn quite a bit, as Jan spoke, just keeping up on what's happening for us as we age. So those are my favorite things.
Absolutely. And if you're joining us right now, please note this is a pre-recorded show, but we are joined today with three of our fabulous volunteers. We wanted to reflect on all the goodness our volunteers do, not only for AARP, but for our members in the community. So we know 2020 has been a little bit of a beast, very different for obvious reasons, especially with COVID. So you guys have been with us for a few years. Can you talk a little bit about how your role, or maybe, just your reflection of how volunteering with us has changed even from last year to this year? And Jan, I will start with you.
Okay. Actually, I think I've done more AARP hours this year than the previous years. We've had a lot of Zoom sessions. I had an opportunity to develop and present the absentee voting, as I mentioned earlier. And so I think because I'm home more, not involved in other activities, I've actually had a chance to be more AARP this year than previous years. So that's been really good, actually.
Great. And Cathy, same question.
Of course, the biggest change is that as an outreach volunteer, we can't outreach because of COVID. But we have had Zoom, so that's been a learning experience of using Zoom. Just really looking forward to being able to get out and being with people.
Absolutely.
But that's been the hardest.
It has been the hardest. Now, you do have to say Cathy is in the Milwaukee area, so she's technically part of the AARP Milwaukee team. And Cathy and I worked a ton together before COVID, and I'm feeling her pain right now of can't wait. Like, we're just counting down the days. We don't know when we can start doing it, getting back out into the community, because I also miss our members.
What did we do, Amber? I think we did 22 or 23 events.
Yeah.
So almost 2 a month in 2019, and then 2020 came, and
I had us so booked up for this year, though. If COVID wasn't around, we would be working right now at an event. So probably, absolutely. Noreen, same question to you.
Well, Zoom has taken some getting used to, and I still don't feel like an expert. But I am thankful for Zoom. It is so much better than a conference call.
Yes.
You can't see people, but it has its own challenges. But I think it's also made us become a little creative about what we can do and how we can accomplish things. So I've been grateful for that. It's been quite a learning experience. So learning is usually good, but I'm looking forward to face to face.
Absolutely. So I know, Cathy, you touched a little bit about on this already, but looking forward to 2021, and as of right now, of course, AARP won't be doing any in-person events or outreach. We think at least we'll reflect a little bit more on it probably towards June. So what are you looking forward to, Cathy, as being a volunteer for next year, knowing that it's still going to be a little different?
I think after the first of the year, and as we, look to, we have more information when the vaccine is going to be available, and hoping that by the fall, we may be able to start things up once, we've all gotten our shot. And that would be, here in Milwaukee, we'd have Zufari and a number of the other senior celebration things that have happened here in the Milwaukee area in the past. So hopefully we can get back to them.
Absolutely. And Jan, same question to you. What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to getting back together again, absolutely. And I'm hoping, like everyone, next fall or sooner. I'm looking forward to helping with AARP, working on the vaccine, whatever communications we can add to help people get their vaccine in the right order of events. And then this winter, we'll be working on the Joint Finance Committee meeting. We have a whole new government in the state to work with. And so I'm hoping we can help promote the ideals and objectives that AARP has for senior care. So those are the two things I think are coming up this year.
And Miss Noreen, what are you looking forward to for next year?
Well, we've been working with Community Heart and Soul, which is a planning program in the age-friendly context here in La Crosse. And so I'm looking forward. We're learning, we're doing in Zoom meetings now how to plan and how to reach out to the community and gather information from the community. So I'm looking forward to getting through the training, and maybe about the time we can get together, we'll be able to do outreach, direct outreach to different communities to get input for how to move forward and how to make La Crosse the best city we can for age-friendly. So I'm looking forward to continuing along those same lines.
And Noreen, because I live in Milwaukee, we might have to arm wrestle for that, because we also want Milwaukee to be the best city too.
Okay.
I'm not good.
We can try.
We want every city in Wisconsin to be best, of course. But so if anybody's viewing this right now, and of course we know the world's a little different, we're always still looking for great volunteers, because as you can see from especially like Jan and Noreen and Cathy, there's still things that we're doing behind the scenes that, even though maybe we're not at the events or doing presentations in person, there's still a lot for AARP Wisconsin volunteers to do. So Cathy, what advice would you give to somebody who's maybe looking to volunteer with us?
Just give it a try. There's lots of opportunity, not only from an outreach standpoint, but for advocacy. There's hopefully tax aid will come back at some point. The driver's classes. I mean, there's lots of opportunity for people to volunteer, and there's lots of support. I think that's the biggest thing that I know I've heard from other people is concern that I've never done this before. So, how would I do it? There's lots of support.
Great. And Jan, same question.
I implore anyone to really consider it. You learn so much. And, you can take your time and learn before you try things out. So there's lots of support and help. But it is just fascinating, the things that we've been working on. And I really encourage everyone to give it a shot.
Thank you so much, Jan. And Noreen.
I like a quote that I got from Atlantic Philanthropies a while ago, maybe even a number of years ago. And that quote is, on the baby boomers, in the 60s, they changed the world. And in their 60s, they just might do it again. Although maybe we need to say in their 70s now.
Yeah.
But that's kind of my inspiration, is to make the world a better place.
Okay.
And I would encourage any volunteer who has some interest, you can volunteer as much or as little as you'd like. So we can accommodate you, and I think it's been a great experience, but also lots of fun. So I would just say, like the others, give it a try. You might like it.
And I have two final questions. I'm going to put you ladies on the spot a little bit, and I'm going to start with Jan. So Jan, I have two questions. One is, what do you wish for in 2021? And do you have any New Year's resolutions you'd like to share with us?
Okay. Well, I think all of us wish for, things to be better with COVID-19 and for the vaccine to come out as quickly as we possibly can, so we can see all our relatives and family and friends and not be so, isolating as everyone has. I know many people want to see their grandkids and so on. And so I really believe that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and all of us need to work together to get our place in line and get the vaccine so that we can come back to somewhat of a normal thing. My resolutions are to, make the best use that I can of this really hard, it's going to be a hard winter.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to do the exercise and diet and all that kind of stuff, and clean the basement, and, all those things that people do when they're isolated at home.
Yeah.
And may read more. So I've got lots of things to do.
Great. Thank you, Jan, for sharing that. And Noreen, same question. What do you wish for in 2021, and any New Year's resolutions you'd like to share with us?
Well, in 2021, I want to get back to being able to go out to lunch with friends. I want to be able to give people a hug, especially my grandchildren, and just be able to meet face to face with people. And I never make New Year's resolutions,
Okay.
because I find I can't really keep them. But I am forever trying to exercise more, read more, and eat, more nutritious food. So I'll continue along those lines, sometimes achieving it and sometimes falling off the wagon, but generally in that direction.
And I was going to say, your New Year's resolution could be that you don't make New Year's resolutions, but I like that you did make those. So thank you so much, Noreen, for sharing. And Cathy, same question to you.
Well, that is my New Year's resolution, is not to make New Year's resolutions because I never keep them. So I just have given up. But what do I wish for in 2021? I wish for, health for everyone, and that we get a handle on COVID. In my family, this is going to sound strange, but we were a little lucky in that my daughter and son-in-law had COVID in March early on. And so it has eased things a bit for us because I've been able to see them and my granddaughter with precautions. We're very careful. But I can't wait to be able to hug friends and go out to lunch and, be able when someone is in the hospital to go and visit them. My mother was hospitalized twice during this, and I think that was the hardest thing, is we couldn't be there with her. So I want us to get COVID under control, that we can get back to some semblance of normalcy, whatever that looked like for people.
Well, thank you, ladies, so much. I will share my 2021. And then I'm going to have our producer come on. I'm going to put him on the spot to answer the same questions. So my hope for 2021, yes, COVID. Get it back under control. And I do agree. And I just told somebody this, I miss hugs. I do. And you didn't realize how bad you miss those until you're not able to do it. So just like hugging my mom, and my grandma did pass away earlier this month and we weren't able to see her. So I do. I'm sending good vibes to the universe. 2021 hopefully will be a lot better. My New Year's resolutions, I do make them and I'm sticking to them, is drink more water. I'm going to try a new recipe every week. So this will be a recipe I've never ate before. So if you guys have recommendations, post your link below. I will make it, and maybe I could do a show on eating it too, because everybody wants to see that. And then getting my finances in order. 2 weeks we had the show Getting Financially Fit for 2021, and we talked about the AARP money map. And the tool that we have, it's free. Anybody can use it. Just a really good inspiration of like, now that I've been home during COVID, my online shopping addiction has gotten a little out of control. So I will get it back under control in 2021. And now I'm going to have our producer, Darren, who is with AARP Wisconsin, come on and talk about what he hopes for next year and any New Year's resolutions. And I totally put him on the spot for this.
Well, thank you. As everybody said, 2020 has been a little tough for me. I'm an extrovert. I thrive on the energy of people, and love working in person with our volunteers. And while I am happy that we can see them over a screen, it is a little tough for me just to have that and not be there in person with them. So I'm looking forward to being able to see our volunteers in person and working with them. I've spent the last 6 years of my life traveling most of the week, and so being home all the time has been really, really rough for me. My family. Yeah. My family gets a medal because they've never had to deal with me so much as they've had these last 9 months. But my New Year's resolution, I'm one who doesn't necessarily make specific resolutions, but since joining AARP, I've recognized that a lot of the quality of life that we have when we get older can be addressed when we're younger in the choices that we make. So I have already started things like yoga and eating better, and so I'll just continue those as I go on.
And Darren,
my volunteers have taught us so much.
Would you be so kind to share your weight loss during COVID? Why everybody has gained, you have lost?
I've lost 37 pounds.
Wow! All right.
Oh. Amazing.
So
he's doing it. He's doing it. Well, before we get to the end of our show, I first want to say, before Darren tries to take himself off, I want to say a great big thank you to Darren. He's been a really great colleague to work with over my year and a half with AARP, but he's also been such a great producer of the show. So most of the time you'll see Darren behind the scenes, and we started this show, I think, back in April or May after COVID, thinking about like, how can we still stay connected with our members and non-members. And so I want to say thank you so much to Darren. He has been great for this. So thank you so much, Darren.
Well, thank you.
Yes. And thank you to our lovely volunteers. The 3 ladies that joined us today represents, over our 200 volunteers with AARP Wisconsin. And I want to thank each and every one of you. We know this year has been a little different, so volunteering looks a little bit different, but you are staying the course. We really do appreciate all your support.
You're welcome.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies, so much. And thank you guys for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Join us for next week's show, which will be in the new year. So it'll be our first one of 2021. We're going to be talking to some of our small dollar big impact winners of 2020. If you remember, that is a grant program that we launched this year for small dollar grants up to $1,000. So you're going to be hearing from 2 of our awardees. Otherwise, once again, we appreciate you joining us today. It's our last show of 2020. We bid 2020 adieu. Looking forward to 2021. But thank you guys so much for joining us today. Happy holidays, happy New Year, and we will see you in 2021. Take care.